Hey art teachers, my name is Nick Gehl. I'm an arts administrator in Evanston, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. On today's A Day in the Life, you're going to come on a tour with me, an arts leader at a large public high school. I'm going to show you what I do each day, and I hope to provide you with some tricks to help you in your workplace. We're going to spend some time touring facilities. I'm going to be working on an AP art project, looking into the backgrounds of our students to see if there were any indicators of their success. I'm also going to be looking up some resources and starting to put together a professional development plan for one of our upcoming days with our art teachers. Hey, good morning everyone. I wanted to start by sharing my morning routine. Like many of you, I start my morning off with some good coffee. It always gives me a good start to the day, but I also wanted to share something that's really valuable to me. And that's the idea of exercise. I've started to get up each morning and spend just a little bit of time moving my body. Sometimes I'll go for a run or a bike ride or a swim, and sometimes I get the pleasure of actually meeting up with some friends and doing it. And what I found is when I start my day exercising, it creates for a much better work day. I'm more productive, I have more energy, and I know some of my best ideas and thoughts have come to me when I'm out running. So what I encourage each of you to do is see if you can spend a few minutes in a way that bring you joy. Maybe that's reading a book or going for a walk with a colleague after school, but see if you can find an activity each day that helps you disconnect from school. Sometimes teaching and education can feel so consuming, and it's important to make time in our lives for the people we care about and the activities that bring us joy. What I've also found is that disconnecting sometimes can help me make a stronger connection when I go back. I like to think I'm better at work because I spend time each day exercising, and I'd be curious to see if you have the same result with the activity that you choose. Now, before we get started, I know administration doesn't always have the best reputation, but what I hope to show you today is that there are still ways for you to lead within the space you are. It's one of the great ways that we can advocate for our programs, our students, and our colleagues. So come along with me today. Now, before we get started, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the Art of Education University so you can get more day in the life videos just like this one. Now, when I first come in, the first two things that I'm going to do are check my email and check my calendar. I try to stay off email at home, and I know the reality is that there are a few things that might have come in after school or overnight from a student, parent, or someone here at work. So one of the first things I'm going to do is just scroll through my email to see if anything of importance came up that needs to be addressed right away. For example, I might have just found out that one of my art teachers is going to be out today, and I need to resolve that quickly. The second thing I'm going to do is check my calendar. In my role, I know there are meetings that are going to come up on various days and having different appointments with people. So I need to make sure I know what I'm committed to that day, and that's also going to tell me the different chunks of time that I can work with to get some of the things I need to get done. After I looked at my calendar and my email, I'm going to look at my to-do list from yesterday and see what needs to be carried over today. I'm going to see what I need to get done today for myself and remembering what's open on my calendar to see where that's going to fit in. I don't know if you're like me, but there's something about writing out a to-do list and the gratification of checking something off that just feels so good. Okay, quick survival tip for you. Now, I'm an eater, so when I'm looking at my calendar, one of the things I'm looking for is when am I going to eat lunch today? Because I know if I don't get my lunch, then I'm going to be grumpier throughout the day, and that's not good for anybody. So be mindful of giving yourself some time and space in the day for you to have your basic needs met. One easy way to remember what's on your calendar is to have notifications sent to your phone. I don't mind doing this during the day because there have been a number of times when I've been across the building and my phone will buzz telling me that I have a meeting soon, and it's a great reminder of where I need to be. Now, one of the things I don't like to do is to sit for too long. So let's go take a walk around the classrooms and see if we can run into any art teachers. For me, being in our ceramics room is also a great reminder of the power of arts leadership. This was a space that we got to renovate a few years ago after advocating for a better experience for our students. Before our renovation, we had about 24 students sharing 10 wheels, and now we're so fortunate enough to have 1 wheel per student. We've got a wheel throwing space, a hand building space, multiple kilns, and that's just one of the ways that leadership can still be gratifying. So one of the things I love to do each day is to get up and kind of walk around the building. I can't sit at my desk for too long without becoming too sedentary. So I like to get into the classrooms and feel the energy of the art room. I think we can all agree that art rooms are usually a really fun place. It's great to see what the kids are doing, what the teacher's doing, and there's something about seeing that lived experience for the staff that's so critical for me to help them in the most effective ways. Well, here I am back in my office, and now it's time for me to work on one of the projects I've identified as something I want to look into. Now, sometimes it can feel like you don't have any control over what's going on in your classroom, and you're constantly being responsive to your teachers or other staff in the building. But one of the things I've been curious about is AP student success. And I've been curious to know if their experiences in our lower level classes were any indicators of their success in the AP class. Sometimes we make decisions about our programmatic structures, like what classes and prerequisites students should have to have. So I've been looking into our AP students, and I've been comparing their experience in our programs with the score they earned on their AP portfolio. I'm curious to see if there's any link between those two things. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because sometimes we find ourselves in meetings where we're talking about what requirements or prerequisites students should have. And it's important for me to look at problems like this from all angles. And now this is an opportunity where my artist side gets to come out. I might not be in the classroom with students right now, but at least I get to use my creative problem solving to try and understand this problem from a different angle. If you're ever finding yourself kind of caught between two worlds, I encourage you to identify a problem you'd like to solve. Create a list of ideas or questions you might have about the students, staff, or school. Think about what approach you need to take to better understand and to inform future decisions. One of the reasons I became a school leader is because I wanted to have a role and play an impact on the structures and changes and decisions that were informing the experiences for our students and staff. It's been a rewarding experience anytime I can spend time in an area and then work with colleagues in the building to create change for the better. I'd encourage you to look within your space. Leadership is not a role or a position, but really it's an opportunity for all of us, no matter what space we're in, to create change. Is there something within your building that you think should be changed? Who can you work with to try and understand that problem from a different perspective and offer up some new solutions? So here I am in our graphic design room, and what I love about this space is that it has room for students to work by hand on paper with pens and markers, but it's also got a computer lab space. So when we can create experiences for students to create artwork physically and then scan it and bring it into their work, I think that's really showing them how tools aren't limited. And what I love about this space is watching students who don't always consider themselves artists creating art. There's something about using technology that students all of a sudden don't think that it's about art, but rather it's just about software. And I love these spaces when we get to challenge the students' self-image of their work. When I get a chance to see the teachers in their practice interacting with students, it's always a great reminder of why we do what we do. And it's important for me to remember that every decision and every conversation that's had amongst administrators or with adults in a certain space in the building, that these are the reasons we're having those conversations. And these are the moments and the experiences that we need to keep in mind when we're making those decisions. So I think it's important for me to be out of the office and into classrooms and interacting with teachers and students to really keep myself remembering who it is we're here for and who we're making decisions for. One of the perks I've learned to enjoy about being an arts leader is that I sometimes have the flexibility to get out of the building during lunch. I can take a walk, go to a local restaurant real quick, or sometimes even run home. I've found it's really helped me just kind of refresh the mind and refresh the body for the afternoon. Now, the reality is that I get busy too, and I don't have a chance to get out and see teachers necessarily every day. So on the moments that I intended to see them and I didn't get a chance, I might shoot them a quick text or write myself a note to see them tomorrow, just to let them know that I'm thinking of them. All right. I spent time working on that project. Now it's time to go back out into the building, get my steps in, see some teachers, and see what the students are working on. Now this is our video room here, and as you can see, this teacher loves to have a lot of visuals up for students. This is an area that's been really growing for us. It's our video and production program, and we're starting to think about potential renovations in this area. What other supplies do these students need? What type of teaching environment to create and record in a space that's going to work for all of their projects? And this space is also a reminder of all the different people that arts leaders interact with to create amazing experiences for students. Of course, it's the teacher who's in this space, but the equipment they need, also involves our computers and our cameras, and that's going to bring in our IT department. We're also talking about potential renovations in this area. So now I'm thinking about our building engineers and our school architects. And one thing I've learned as a school leader is the importance of building relationships with everyone in the building. For our teachers to see that we're advocating for them, and for others in the building to know that we're thinking about the impact on their work as well. All right, I'm back at my desk, and one of my favorite things to do is to work with teachers. I enjoy teaching. I enjoy collaborating and coaching with staff. And one of my favorite things to do is when you can have a conversation with a teacher about just ideas. Again, arts leaders still get to flex their creative mindset. We still get to brainstorm, come up with ideas, and I love sharing those ideas with teachers because the more I feel like I can help a teacher build their toolbox, the better teacher they're going to be for our students. So after I finish a teacher observation, what I try to do is some of my own research. I think about what showed up in that classroom, what the teacher and I talked about in our pre-conference, and what I can share with them during our post-conference and give them something to walk away with. So just like an art teacher looking for a new project, I spend a lot of time on my computer Googling different instructional strategies, resources, and ideas to help teachers with their practice. This is how I first learned about the Art of Education University. I stumbled upon one of their articles and passed it on to one of our teachers. Ever since then, I've found that, as well as many other resources, incredibly helpful for our staff. Now, over time, one of the tips I've learned that's helped me is as I'm researching articles, if I found a good one, I save it. Even if it's not for the teacher I have in mind, I like to keep a good bank of resources on my computer just if and when the opportunity presents itself. I found that it can save me a lot of time down the road when I keep my collection going over time. Okay, I've got a quick desk tip for you. Sometimes being an administrator means you're sitting at your desk a lot. I highly recommend getting one of these. It's a used lacrosse ball I got from one of my local used sports stores for like $2. I put this on my back, I put this under my legs, and just kind of moving around on it can help things be a little less sedentary. As the day comes to an end, it's time to start packing up. And one of the things I've learned is to turn off my email notifications on my cell phone as I leave the building. I don't need to be reminded of all the things that I have to do tomorrow. They'll still be there for me. My teachers know if they need anything, they can shoot me a text or give me a call. But otherwise, I try and stay off email for the afternoon. It's time to be with my family, friends, and other hobbies. I hope there are some things I shared with you today that made you start thinking about arts leadership. I've been in leadership now for 12 years. And it's not the same as being in the classroom, but I still get to work with teachers and students and staff to create amazing art experiences for our students. I'd encourage you to remember that leadership is not a title, it's not a position in school, but it's really anybody in any space, stepping up, advocating on behalf of others, and creating change within your program to better the experience for students and staff. Art teachers can be incredible leaders and can still be art teachers. We're creative, we're advocacy-minded, we're driven and independent. These are all incredible traits of incredible leaders. So I encourage you to think about how you can be a leader in your space. Now, if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe so you get more Day of the Life videos from the Art of Education University. Bye.